You just had brain chip surgery. You weren't put to sleep, and you didn't feel any pain. 10 minutes ago, a surgical robot cut a circle in your skull and began carefully placing thousands of tiny metal threads into your brain. Those threads have sensors that are now understanding and stimulating your brain activity. There wasn't a doctor standing over you with a scalpel. Instead, it was a robot moving with extreme precision, designed to make the entire process as safe and smooth as possible. As you sit up, a voice speaks softly nearby.
The implant is active.
Nothing feels different, but what just happened to you is a small step in evolving humanity. As you get wheeled back to your car, you take a moment to reflect. This is the moment you never thought would happen. A brain chip was entirely off limits. Never, ever, ever. Much less 2 of these implants. But 7 years ago, everything changed. Now you can send text messages and emails again. You can stream music and be on social media. You can even play complex video games directly with your mind. But this is all just step 1. Next month, you'll be given a gift that will transform your life forever. A week later, you're thinking about the clinic, the robot, the bright lights, the quiet hum of the machines. You're back home, and it's you, a chair you know a little too well, and a computer screen balanced on a stand. On it, your nurse appears in a video call window.
All right, let's talk about what happens next.
She taps something on her end, and a simple diagram fills the screen. At the top, a brain with a small highlighted circle where your implants are. At the bottom, a second highlighted area of the spinal cord.
Right now, these implants up here are helping us read your motor signals and use them to control devices. Your cursor, your apps, your communication.
You glance to the side at the tablet you've been using to text, answer emails, and play games. Step 1, give your mind a way to speak to the world again.
But the real reason we did this first is because of what we want to do next. Next month, you're going to get 2 more implants down here, below your injury. These don't just listen, they also stimulate. The goal is to build a kind of wireless bridge between your brain and the part of your spine that still knows how to move your legs.
She points to the area of your injury on the diagram. She draws an imaginary path on the screen from the brain implant down past the injury to the spinal cord region.
Your brain has never stopped trying to send stand, step, and shift your weight signals. The injury just stops those signals from reaching your muscles. So we read those commands up here and relay them around the damaged section to the implants down here, so your legs can respond again.
You've seen animations like this before, online, in news clips, in presentations that felt a little too optimistic.
I want to make sure to set expectations appropriately. We can't promise that you'll walk the way you did before the accident. But your brain is giving us strong, usable signals. That's why we started with these implants. They're the foundation for the spinal bridge.
You look down at your legs. For years, they've been something people move for you. The idea that your own thoughts might make them twitch, hold weight, or take a step again feels a little too big to think about all at once.
Over the next few weeks, we'll be asking you to imagine standing, taking steps, shifting from one leg to the other, while we record the patterns from your implant. The better we understand your brain's walking language now, the better these spinal implants can listen later.
Behind you in the doorway, your brother leans on the frame, pretending he's just passing through. He was the one who used to laugh at headlines about brain chips, the one who said more than once that he'd never let anyone near his brain with a device like this. Never, ever, ever. But now he's seeing you smile again. He's watched you move a cursor across a screen completely hands-free. And now he's hearing a nurse talk calmly, matter-of-factly, about the possibility that you might stand again.
As we go through this training, I just want to be really upfront with you. The surgery we're talking about for your spinal cord is a pretty big deal. It's got higher risks than the brain implants we did before, since the spinal cord is such a sensitive area. It handles all those important nerve signals and also supports a lot of your body's weight. So if anything goes wrong, it could have a major longer-term impact. We shouldn't rush into this. Let's talk it through together to make sure it feels right for you. Do you have any questions for me?
The call wraps up. Your nurse signs off with a promise to send over exercises and schedules.
You really think it'll work? The whole brain to spine bridge thing?
You look down at your legs, then back at the blink display.
I don't know, but it's the first time anyone's talked about more than just keeping things from getting worse.
He nods slowly.
Yeah, I mean, look, if anyone should be trying this, it's you. You actually need it. That makes sense.
You smile. For most of modern medicine, brain surgery was built on an assumption. If anything was going to touch the brain, it would be a human hand. For decades, that was true. A skilled neurosurgeon with years of training was the tool that made life-changing operations possible. But the kind of implant you just received demanded something completely different. Instead of a few large sensors, Neuralink needed thousands of nanoscale sensors, each one placed at exactly the right spot in an area packed with delicate blood vessels. At that scale, even the best neurosurgeon runs into physical constraints. Imagine trying to guide a single hair into a 1 square millimeter spot inside a bowl of jello. Now imagine doing that not once, but thousands of times in a row. Moreover, with this surgery, each placement has to be even more than 100 times more precise than that. That's where the robot comes in. To make the surgery safe, the insertions had to be fast enough to lower infection risk, accurate enough to avoid damaging tissue, and consistent enough that the whole procedure could be repeated reliably around the world. A human hand simply wasn't built for that combination. So instead of trying to push surgeons to an impossible level, Neuralink took them out of the loop for this part of the job completely. The surgical robot doesn't get tired or distracted. It doesn't need a decade of residency. Using real-time imaging, it maps the surface of the brain as it works, spotting tiny blood vessels and adjusting each trajectory on the fly. Every thread is placed where it has the best chance of listening in on meaningful brain activity. The robot is like a high-end sewing machine designed for the brain, turning what once looked like a long, risky surgery into a simple procedure. That's the system that operated on you. And while not everyone had a motorcycle accident, what just happened in that operating room isn't unique anymore. Around the world, tens of thousands of people, even those who don't have spinal cord injuries or neurodegenerative diseases, are taking the same step.
You know, when they first started talking about brain chips on the news, I thought it was just for people trying to be superheroes. Extra memory, instant downloads, all that stuff.
He glances at the sensor by your temple.
I never pictured this. Just you in our living room, training a stick figure version of yourself to stand up. You still wouldn't do it?
Nope. Hard no. I don't have a reason like you do. I can walk, I can work, I'm fine.
Yep.
I'm not messing with my brain for fun.
But if this helps you stand again,
I'll be the first to thank them.
3 days later, the real work begins. It doesn't start with movement or standing. It starts simply with thinking. You sit in front of a screen showing a simple outline of legs, thin white lines, still and almost abstract. You're told to stay completely still and focus only on intention. So you do. You think about what standing once felt like, the pressure through your feet, the way balance used to happen without conscious effort, the small adjustments your body made on its own. For a while, nothing changes. Then one of the lines flickers. On the other end of the call, someone says softly,
Okay, that's good data.
Good data. That's what progress looks like now. You learn quickly that this kind of work is exhausting in a way you didn't expect. 20 minutes leaves your mind heavier than hours of physical therapy ever did. You aren't strengthening muscles, you're rebuilding a language. Each day the software becomes a little better at understanding what you mean when you think you stand, shift, or step. At the same time, you learn how to form those intentions more clearly, without forcing them. Your brother watches from the couch sometimes, arms crossed, pretending he's only half paying attention.
This looks kind of boring.
You smile.
So was learning how to walk the first time.
He doesn't respond, but he doesn't look away either. From the outside, it's just someone sitting still in a chair. Inside, something long silent is beginning to speak again. You're midway through a session, eyes closed, focusing on the idea of shifting your weight forward. You've done this exercise many times before. This time, something feels different. There's no sudden movement, but there is resistance. A faint sense that your leg is responding rather than remaining absent. You open your eyes.
Did something change?
You ask, unsure whether you imagined it. After a brief pause, the trainer replies,
No. We were about to ask you the same thing.
The session ends early. Later in the stillness of your living room, the significance of it settles in. For years, your legs have been managed and positioned by other people. They've existed more as objects than as a part of you. Now, for the first time since the accident, one of them answered. Your brother stands nearby, thinking. You shake your head. No, but they said it might. He exhales slowly, eyes fixed on you.
that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, almost instinctively, he adds,
Still not for me, though. I don't need anything in my head to be better.
You don't argue, you don't need to, because for the first time in years, better no longer feels abstract. The weeks that follow are nothing special. There are no headlines, no dramatic shifts you can point to and say, this is the moment everything changed. There are only sessions, screens, harnesses, long stretches of thinking followed by careful analysis. Progress shows up in small ways. The system recognizes your intentions faster. The delay between thought and response shortens. Patterns that once looked like noise start to make sense. And once in a while, something happens that makes everyone pause. A trace of pressure, a measurable response, enough resistance to confirm that the signals are getting through. Not to your legs yet, but the training is refining the model of your specific brain. The explanation comes during a review call one afternoon. The brain implant is doing its job. It's reading clearly now, reliably. It's scheduled. 2 additional implants placed below the injury, not to read, but to stimulate motor neurons that will activate muscle groups, to receive the signals your brain has been sending for years and give them somewhere to land. A bridge, a wireless bridge connecting your brain and your body. You end the call staring at the date on the calendar. Your brother leans against the counter behind you, arms folded. He studies your legs for a moment, like they might give something away.
You nervous? It was the first time. Now it just feels necessary.
He nods slowly. The morning of the second surgery arrives faster than you expected. The clinic feels familiar now. The same clean hallways, the same low hum of machines behind closed doors. You're wheeled into a prep room while technicians move efficiently around you, checking systems, confirming names, confirming dates. These implants won't go in your head, they'll be placed in your spinal cord. You just need a little wire adjusting after being trapped for years. Your brother stands near the door, hands in his pockets.
You know, if this works, it kind of changes the line, doesn't it?
What line? You don't answer right away, because you know what he's really asking. He exhales, almost laughing at himself.
Relax. Still not for me. I'm not volunteering for surgery unless I have to.
You smile. They wheel you toward the operating room. Bright lights, the surgical robot arms waiting patiently above the table. As they position you, you catch your brother's reflection in the glass. The technician leans in.
We're ready to begin. Any last questions?
You shake your head, because for the first time since the accident, the future doesn't feel like something you're bracing for. It feels like something you're stepping toward. The robot moves into position, and just before the procedure begins, one thought settles in clearly. Your brain never forgot how to talk. It just needed a way around the damage. The robot hovers in place, perfectly still, waiting for the final confirmation. For a moment, there's nothing to do but think about how strange it is that something so small, a few millimeters of hardware, can sit at the center of so much hope. About how for years, the future felt like something that only happened to other people. And about how none of this started with ambition. It started with loss. You didn't come here to be enhanced. You came here because something was taken from you. The promise wasn't superhuman ability. It wasn't reconnection. The chance for your thoughts to reach parts of your body they've been speaking to all along. Across the room, your brother watches quietly. He still tells himself this isn't for him. That this is about necessity, not choice. That he would never let a machine this close to his mind. Maybe that's true. Or maybe this is just how these things begin, with someone you love stepping forward first. The technician gives a small nod.
Beginning implantation.